So when Eala plays, we all get together and we all watch or support her as a group of people.
We pay only when Alex plays. The yearly subscription? Just in case. The monthly? Oh, the monthly. You only pay when she plays. It's pay to play. Get the yearly, $77. I love the honesty. Those unforgettable words came from a passionate Filipino tennis fan during the build-up to the US Open on August 26, 2026. But this time, the message wasn't coming from Indian Wells. It was coming from New York, where anticipation surrounding Alex Eala had reached an entirely different level. The fan wasn't speaking quietly or hiding behind an anonymous social media account. The message was direct, emotional, and impossible to ignore. Filipino fans weren't simply interested in tennis, they were showing up because Alex Eala was playing. And as the US Open prepared to take over New York, one question became impossible to avoid. Has Alex Eala become bigger than the tournament itself? Because what Alex has built in 2026 is no longer just a tennis story. It has become a worldwide phenomenon. From her breakthrough performances to the explosive support of Filipino fans, every appearance now carries an energy that tournament officials simply cannot ignore. And now, on August 26th, just days before the US Open begins, that pressure has followed Alex all the way to Flushing Meadows. The question is no longer whether fans will come to watch Alex. The question is whether they will eventually fall in love with tennis itself, or whether they will keep showing up exclusively for her. Drop your answer in the comments. Alex had already endured an intense stretch of tennis leading into New York, battling through demanding matches and carrying the expectations of millions of Filipino fans on her shoulders. Now, with the US Open approaching, the spotlight was brighter than ever. And this time, there was nowhere for the world to look except Alex Eala. 7-5, 4-6, 7-5. It was a late-night thriller where every point felt like it was being played inside a football stadium, but this time, the stage was New York and the date was August 26, 2026, just days before the US Open officially begins. Outside the venue, hundreds of Filipino fans were eager for a glimpse of Alex Eala, waiting for autographs and celebrating every moment of her journey. This wasn't a Grand Slam final, yet the attention surrounding Eala felt enormous. Across the US Open grounds, the difference in atmosphere was impossible to ignore. While some courts experienced quieter moments during the early stages of the tournament, Alex's presence generated a completely different level of excitement, with Filipino flags, chants, cameras, and fans gathering wherever she appeared. That contrast tells a story the tennis world cannot ignore. Alex Eala is no longer simply another young player competing on the biggest stage. She has become a major attraction capable of bringing an entire fanbase with her. And as the US Open approached, the question became even bigger. Could Alex's Filipino following turn her matches into some of the most electric sessions of the entire tournament? Standing room, flags draped over railings, fans chanting her name, and supporters waiting long after the tennis ended. This was the Eala effect arriving in New York, and on August 26th, the world was about to see just how powerful it could become. Fans had traveled for hours from Los Angeles, San Diego, and across Southern California just to experience Alex Eala in person, and by August 26, 2026, that same passion had followed her all the way to New York. With a huge Filipino-American community across California and millions of Filipinos watching from around the world, Eala has demonstrated an ability to turn ordinary tennis sessions into major fan events. Even players ranked far higher have struggled to generate the same level of concentrated support, while Alex's fans continue to pack around her matches, raise Filipino flags, chant her name, and wait long after the final point for a chance to see her. But this phenomenon did not suddenly appear in New York. It had been building for weeks as Eala's breakthrough performances transformed her into one of the most talked-about young players on tour. Tournament officials, broadcasters, and fans have increasingly noticed the extraordinary demand surrounding her appearances, with supporters desperately searching for tickets and traveling long distances simply to watch her play. And the numbers away from the court tell an even bigger story. At major tournaments earlier in the season, Alex's interviews and appearances generated enormous online attention, often attracting viewers far beyond what her ranking alone would suggest. That is the key point. Alex Eala's impact can no longer be measured only by rankings, wins, and losses. Her audience is becoming a force of its own, and as the US Open approaches on August 26, the tennis world is beginning to realize that Eala is not simply participating in the event, she is helping create the event around her. The world number one, a three-time Grand Slam champion and one of the most dominant forces in women's tennis, had once again become one of the biggest attractions on the WTA Tour. But by August 26, 2026, the conversation surrounding Alex Eala had shifted from rankings to something much bigger. The 20-year-old Filipino star had not even needed a Grand Slam quarterfinal appearance to command extraordinary attention, because her fanbase was already proving that her commercial and cultural impact could go far beyond her ranking. Then came the moment that crystallized everything, a Filipino fan explaining, "We pay only when Alex plays." That wasn't simply casual fandom. It represented a level of loyalty that tournament organizers and the WTA could not easily ignore, an audience willing to spend money specifically to see one player. And fellow players were beginning to notice it too. After Coco Gauff faced Alex in Dubai, Gauff reportedly acknowledged the intense attention surrounding Eala, joking from the press conference that she knew many people were probably there because of Alex. That moment revealed something important. Eala's influence was becoming visible not only in the stands and online, but inside the locker room and press room as well. Now, as the US Open approaches on August 26, the question is no longer whether Alex Eala has attracted attention. The question is how far the Eala effect can go when the biggest stage in tennis finally arrives in New York. I would like to thank Alex for bringing a new demographic to the sport. I feel like it is great for the sport to have this atmosphere. Those words captured something much bigger than a simple compliment. The player who had just won the match was crediting Alex Eala not for the tennis she had played, but for what she was bringing into every arena she entered. The growing Eala crowd was no longer just showing up to celebrate a victory. They were announcing their presence in a sport that had rarely experienced this kind of concentrated Filipino support before. And that connection between Alex and her fans became even more powerful whenever the matches became difficult. After one of her exhausting battles earlier in the season, Alex found a microphone and struggled to hold back her emotions as she spoke about the people who stayed up late, endured the cold, and continued cheering for her until the final point. "It means the world to have this community behind me," she said, describing how much their support added to the emotions of the moment. She wasn't simply performing gratitude for the cameras. You could hear the emotion in her voice. For Alex, those fans were not background noise. They were part of the journey. They were the people who kept believing when matches stretched deep into the night, when her body was exhausted, and when every third set became a battle of survival. And now, as August 26 arrives and the US Open atmosphere begins to build in New York, that bond is about to be tested on the biggest stage yet. The Filipino community isn't simply following Alex Eala to the US Open, they are becoming part of her story. If you have been saying for months that the Alex Eala phenomenon is real, that the energy surrounding her is something tennis has rarely experienced, then by August 26, 2026, the evidence has become impossible to ignore. Tournament directors, analysts, fellow players, and fans have all started recognizing the extraordinary attention Eala generates wherever she goes. Steve Johnson, who spent more than a decade competing on the ATP Tour, reached the world's top 20, and played in some of the biggest arenas in professional tennis, now brings that experience to the Nothing Major podcast. Earlier in 2026, Johnson raised a question that immediately sparked conversation. Is she bigger than Sabalenka? Is she bigger than Coco? And his answer was essentially yes, pointing to the standing room-only crowds and the incredible support following Eala around the world. That statement carries weight because Johnson understands exactly what a major tennis crowd looks and feels like. His argument was that Alex Eala's appeal had already grown far beyond what her ranking suggested. She wasn't simply trending toward becoming a major attraction, she was already generating the kind of demand normally associated with established champions. And that is what makes the Eala phenomenon so fascinating. Her cultural influence appears to exceed her ranking by an extraordinary margin, turning every tournament appearance into a potential fan and commercial event. Now the conversation has reached the US Open. On August 26th, as New York prepares for the tournament, the biggest question is no longer whether Alex Eala can attract attention. It is whether the US Open can become the biggest stage yet for the Eala effect. Tournament directors across the tennis world are now watching Alex Eala's rise and asking the same question. How do we get Alex Eala into our draw? But the deeper question is even more important. Will this enormous fanbase eventually convert into lifelong tennis audiences, or will these supporters remain exclusively loyal to one player? Alex herself appears to understand the significance of what is happening. "I have only dreamed of making tennis grow in the Philippines," she said earlier this season, describing how meaningful it is to bring a new audience to tennis around the world. She is no longer simply competing for rankings and trophies. She is becoming part of a larger movement. Earlier in the season, that movement watched her suffer a difficult loss against Coco Gauff in Dubai, but instead of making excuses, Alex responded with gratitude, thanking the fans who stayed behind her and acknowledging the opponent who had outplayed her. Then came the next chapter, New York. By August 26, 2026, the same supporters who had followed Alex through the highs and lows of the season were preparing to fill the streets and stands around the US Open. The Australian Open had already demonstrated the enormous media interest surrounding her, while tournaments across the season had seen Filipino fans turn ordinary match sessions into unforgettable events. Now, with the US Open approaching, the message has become impossible for the sport to ignore. Alex Eala doesn't simply bring fans to tennis, she brings her own community with her. And when a fan tells tournament officials, "We pay only when Alex plays," that statement becomes more than a viral quote. It becomes a signal of the extraordinary loyalty behind her. Steve Johnson has questioned whether she is already a bigger draw than established stars like Sabalenka and Coco Gauff, and on August 26, the biggest test of that theory is about to begin in New York. Gauff thanked Alex for helping bring a new energy and new audience to the game, while Alex herself stood on court fighting back tears, showing that the connection between her and her supporters is far more powerful than any marketing campaign. It is something no ranking can fully measure and no opponent can take away. Now, as August 26, 2026 arrives and the US Open prepares to begin in New York, the biggest question remains. Will Alex Eala's fans eventually fall in love with tennis itself, or will they continue showing up exclusively for her? And is that extraordinary loyalty a gift to the sport, or a challenge the WTA still hasn't figured out how to handle? Drop your answer in the comments. If you recognize the Eala phenomenon before the analysts, tournament directors, and media caught on, then you already understand why this story matters. This channel will continue tracking Alex's journey as it unfolds, from her rise on the WTA Tour to the biggest stage in New York. The US Open is now the next chapter, and on August 26th, the Eala effect is about to enter an entirely new arena. Subscribe and stay with us, because you don't want to miss the next wave.